pan over the baits this time. Okay. Hello everybody. Today we are going to go over the winning baits, kind of do a bait briefing, if you will, of the winning baits of the Bruiser Bass Addiction Free. First of all, let me say that I'm very, very happy with the way the tournament ended up. We gave away a ton of stuff. We had a ton of awesome sponsors, and I had a great time doing it. The family pitched in, and staffers pitched in, and people I never even met before pitched in and fished it hard and worked hard and battled some 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts, boat failures, I mean, left and right, and they were troopers. So I appreciate everything. I appreciate the buying side and the interest, and I also really appreciate all the efforts that people put into this, and especially the sponsors. Today we're going to go over some of the winning baits, and it was really cool because there was a diversity of baits that were used, and I always learn something that people see differently on the water. A lot of people see the water differently, and they apply to their strengths, and that was clearly evident on this tournament because they used a lot of different techniques for our baits, and it ended up working very well. We had our top 10 anglers was over 18.5 pounds, and we had one boater that was stranded, and he weighed in 20 to 22 3 hours later after we pulled him off the lake. He had 20 pounds in the box, 22 pounds in the box. So really amazing weights for the conditions. But I want to touch on some of the baits now, go over them, and kind of who did what with the baits. It was evident that the Crazy Crawl continues to be our #1 most versatile bait, and people are finding more and more ways to use this bait. Probably the #1 tactic that the Crazy Crawl was used on was probably the a couple different versions of the ChatterBait. Here it showed on the wobbler ChatterBait. This is a really aggressive ChatterBait, big blade, and when you get this going, the skirt going, and these crawls going, this is a bait and a tactic that just it reminds me of a rusty, broken down truck just trying to struggle down the road, and things are flying all over the place, and tires are flinging and everything. It's calamity on the streets, and that's what this thing does. This thing looks like a train wreck coming through the water, and it calls fish from all the way around. This was huge. This caught a lot of fish. There it is on the wobbler. That's a super heavy chatterbait, and here it is on more of the OG, if you will, one of the original ones. This chatterbait did really well too. Now these are ones that I have, so I'm kind of simulating different colors and whatnot, but most people are using darker colors. A June bug. Knockout was probably one of our best colors. I mean, it was clearly said over and over again by the top teams. Some of the guys got into our new bait. This is one of our last year's new colors. This is the we call this Twister Blue, which is kind of our vapor blue, but it's twisted. So that the Crazy Crawl, and some guys were even throwing them naked, what we call naked, like on a 3/8. I had a couple guys throwing them on a quarter that was swimming them through the water. So if you can think of a way, we've punched this. The McMillan brothers punch it. They throw them behind swim jigs. Breezy's been throwing it behind they punch it with into mats. Breezy's been throwing it behind a swim jig. She'll probably kill me for saying that. That was evident too. You can do everything with this bait. It's gonna look good coming through the water no matter what. Moving right along, the Big Nasty. Now, there was quite a few bags of Big Nasties made for this tournament, but you know, a lot of people thought this was just for ledges. You know, Kentucky Lake, the Everglades. You know, I got guys from California that are ordering these now that are dragging them in clear water. You know, and one thing that's big about this is that I knew that guys were giving me reports like, hey man, they're crushing them up north on the Big Nasty and North Okeechobee, this, that, and another. But little did we know that guys were swimming this thing. You know, they're swimming it already. They're putting belly weights in big hooks on it. They're putting heavy weights in it, and they're flipping it and pitching it. It's standing up, and it's just doing amazing things. This brought in 25.26 pounds. A guy threw it all day. Mike Vitito and Rashawn Hunter, man, those guys they're awesome guys, and they killed it. This is not just an Everglades worm. The Big Nasty is going to work and work well and do well on Okeechobee. So bottom line, Mike and company, wow. I mean, you hit it out of the park. I didn't know this thing was going to be that versatile. It's exceeded my expectations, so this was utilized too. Don't forget it. Another couple crucial baits that were used was obviously the swim jigs with our super swimmers on the back. And you could throw these naked with a belly weighted hook or no weight at all. A lot of people put them on a swim jig. This one's shown with the B&B swim jig. This is one of my first B&B swim jigs that we utilized. We were also using the Super Swimmer Junior even on the Rod Saucer's gator bait swim jig with smaller profile. So whether it's big and durable or smaller profile, you can use it. It was talked about quite a bit, and it covered a lot of places as well. The super, here's one thing, I may have made these a little too good. I never changed the formula on these. It's a medium, heavy, strong, durable bait. I've used, in Okeechobee, when you could actually fish some of the really shallow stuff when the lake was up, I've used one of these on the back of a swim jig for, 2 tournaments in a row. I changed it because it was a little bit stained. So they're extremely durable. I'm not making baits so they'll fall apart and they become recycle in 1 or 2 days, or 1 or 2 fish, or even 1 fish. These baits are durable and they're standing up, and people are liking them because the action is phenomenal. They give a pulsating action to the jig, shown here, and I think this is a knockout color. They give a really good weight to the jig, to the swim jig itself, and they're durable and they're worry-free. And let's face it, we got some grass left in Okeechobee, and we're still driving these baits through them. That's one of our, that was Moonlight and Blue Shad, Knockout, and then obviously we have the Galactic Brim, which was thrown by itself and did really well too. The guys were very eager to talk about their winning baits on stage, so they knew the colors. They bought them that morning or have been using them for some time, and they really talked about them. Moving along, speaking of Bottom Line Mike, we sent him about 6 or 7 of these Kickin Kings. These Kickin Kings is a big chunk of plastic, got crazy action, a lot of thump in the back, and this is our big frog. This is a hand-injected frog. I can't describe what this thing does on the water, but this did really well. It's probably twice the size of our regular kicking frog, which is a big seller. But don't overlook this Bruiser Kickin King. If you want a big chunk of plastic, definitely get this out and drive it around. We use a 5/0 EWG in there, and hang on, because they smack the heck out of it. Our spinnerbait guys, obviously they could go to the Evil Twin. This was brought up a couple times. This is what placed very high last year. I figured more people would talk about it this year due to the muddy water, but it was mentioned, I think, a couple times in the top 10. Another staffer of mine really went to the bass addiction side to get some really good weights. It came in. Dave Anderson and Donnie went out there. They pitched the Mole Cricket XL, which is our style of a beaver bait. It's got a longer profile here. Mole Cricket XL, not a lot of people know about this, but you pitch this naked with 3/8 or a half. You can punch it as well. They utilize this. This is the watermelon red version. Then you have David's favorite, and he's going to kill me for saying this, but he went with the Gigantor. This is our 8-inch glide bait, if you will. We altered the tail a little bit to get some more gliding action. Dave's always given us really good insight on the bait. And this thing, I'm not sure exactly what hook he's using. I think he's using maybe a 6 or a 7/0 long shank hook. And this thing glides perfectly. And even you could tell he was getting excited, because when he was talking about it, he was saying, man, they just boil underneath it, and you know it's game on. Usually quality fish. Obviously, he had almost 21 pounds, so the Gigantor from Bass Addiction. A lot of the guys sprinkled in fish with the big stick, the Bruiser big stick. This is one of probably our most highest sellers. We have the black blue tip and the June bug blue tip. This is a tough, durable bait. This does not fall apart. This is not a full of salt, soft Cinco. We have the Fatso stick on the Bass Addiction side if you want a soft and salty series. This is made for the grass. This is a tougher bait, okay? This is not going to fall apart on every fish. It just won't. Now, I have prelude just a little bit here, because everybody wanted purple. So this did really well, but we're bringing on black, purple flake, purple tail very soon, okay? We have this in the Dominator color, which is half blue, half black. We have it in, I think, 6 different colors. But while we're on that subject, we're going to be bringing this guy on in the black, purple flake, purple tail. That's coming soon. That was probably 6 or 7 of the top anglers' go-to bait when it got slow. They were pitching holes with it and watching them walk off. The SS came up probably 3 or 4 times. Obviously, it's our new speed worm. This is a fun bite. I cannot wait until the lake gets a little bit lower and they start schooling up on the outside of Kissimmee grass. This is going to be absolutely fun. I can't wait till that bite turns on. They're already catching fish. They've already done me very well. We got probably 13, 14 colors of those, so the SS was on there as well. Moving along on some of the guys that wanted to pitch jigs and whatnot, you have what we call our bluegill rig. Some of the guys, I'm not sure if they were throwing it with skirts, but this is our punch skirt that's on our Bass Addiction site. Then we have the flat out tungsten punch weight, and then this is our new, actually that's a lily pad crazy crawl in the back. So you wanted to give that big profile bait, extremely versatile. They were throwing this, and I had a couple guys actually say they were throwing the Avenger on a punch skirt. So and flapping it and reeling it. So all doing very well. So the baits performed at a very high level. Here's an SS rigged up with a 1/4 ounce. If you wanted to count it down, this is how we kind of been rigging it, with a Mustad 4/0 worm hook. That did well. I use 2 bumper stops. This is actually one that I usually throw in the lighter grass. I throw it on 17 to 20 pound fluorocarbon. So those are some of the baits that did really well. You know, I went through there. I talked to a lot of these guys. You know, Big Stick came up several times. Crazy Crawl dominated the action. I just wanted to give a recap, and congratulations to Scott and Cody Farnham. Nicholas Hoyne came out. Matt Weitha came out. These guys placed the top 5. And then you got James Sloan and Michael Cash. They whacked them. They sat on the Bass Addiction boatsforsale.com, bassboatsforsale.com hot seat for a long time. So those guys were there, and they took home $1,050 in cash for doing so. So anyway, Jason Blair, Mike Lindell, Neil Stark, and Ross Myers busted 21 pounds. Donnie and Dave, of course, the McMillans were there. Harlan and Moses did really well. This was really awesome event. I just want to thank everybody, give everybody a recap on what did well. My goal is to increase baits in bait stores. If you can't find them, please ask the provider, ask these guys about this. Ask them to start carrying them. We need to get this. We need to get these in your hands more readily and available in stores. If you can't, always go on to bruiserbaits.com and check us out. We got some new stuff. We still have new stuff coming. We have a new snake that's coming out. We have a new flipping and pitching bait that's coming out. We're going to be releasing some new colors as well. Some colors that our fans and our staff team and our people that are voicing their opinion on giving us feedback that they want. So we're bringing a lot of cool stuff out. We also have a big announcement coming up on the scent direction of our baits. So we're getting ready to make some big changes here. Anyway, thank you very much. Go out, get a hold of some baits, get them in your hands. We're all about just creating smiles, winning tournaments, and making people happy. Clearly, they demonstrated that at the Bruiser Bass Addiction Free. Thanks to everybody who came and watched, and came out to watch the weigh-in, participated in it, and definitely the sponsors who helped us. So I just want to say thanks to everyone. And my goal is to move these around. I want to do one. I want Toho or Kissimmee. You know, I want to go up to North Florida and try one out. My kayakers, I'm trying to organize a kayak series as well for you guys. So we're going to get this thing started and get it going smooth. I appreciate everybody's time, and if you need anything, you know where to find us: bruiserbaits.com, bassaddictiongear.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out on the water.